All right, so we are here assembling our 10 packs. Oh, this guy fell on the floor here. And so this is my process of how I assemble the 10 packs. Basically just taking out the eggs and matching them, the bottom and the top for every single egg here. So I lay them all out. These are already pre-filled with 9 of them so far, or 9 minis and an egg. And basically what I just do is I take a bin or a box full of minis, and then I go down the line and just fill up each of the eggs with minis until I get 10 in an egg. Pretty straightforward. This I think is a pretty quick way to do this. We have these bins full of eggs that we, as they come off the 3D printer, they go into these bins, and then we sort the colors onto the table, and then we put the minis inside of the eggs. The only downside with doing it this way is most of these have the same minis inside of them, just based on how we do it. So a lot of these, if somebody orders duplicates or multiple quantities, they might get an egg that has the same minis inside. The only way really around that is to individually pack each of these 10 packs and put and make each 10 pack unique. But that would just take a lot more time than just doing it this way. So there's about 100 on this table right now. I have one more batch to go, and then I will show you guys the process again from start to finish. All right, so one thing also that I like to do is for each row that I have, for instance, on that table, there are rows of 21, so 21 on each row. I think it was 4 or 5 rows, I forgot. But what I like to do is I like to go down row by row, and I'll count out, if there's 21 in a row, I'll make sure that I count out 21 minis that I'm dropping into an egg, so that I know that every egg in that row is being filled with an animal, so I don't miss one. All right, now we're at our computer. We're just printing out our labels here, and we're going to start bagging these, labeling them, and putting them into the box. We're going to be using an old X1 carbon box. I think we could probably fit around 120 to 130 of these eggs in that box, and we're going to send this out to Amazon, schedule a UPS pickup. And so once I do this batch, I'll show you guys how I start the next batch. All right, so it's been about 10 minutes. We're about a quarter of the way through. But I just wanted to stop the time lapse and just talk and give my thoughts on, obviously assembling this is a very manual process. You don't really see this type of stuff too much from other print farms. But I wanted to share my thoughts while I am prepping this is that one thing that's super important, and I try to instill, not only for myself, but for Evan and Chris who work with me, is that always be mindful when you're counting. Especially these eggs where you have 10 minis inside of these. It's very important, obviously, to have the full 10 pieces inside of each egg, because, right, if you have 9 or you have 8 in an egg and a customer buys it, they're most likely going to complain. They're most likely going to leave a negative review, and then that review gets seen by hundreds of people, and that may deter somebody from purchasing your product, right? Whether it's on Etsy, whether it's on Amazon, whether it's on TikTok. Customer feedback is always important, and most people, most buyers anyway, tend to look at customer feedback, and that is one of the drivers as to whether or not that person is going to buy something or not. So I always put guardrails in place to ensure that you are counting properly. And so kind of what I mentioned previously was, if I can show you here, for instance, this row, if we were just doing one row here, there would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There would be 9 eggs in this row. So when I'm putting minis in here, I'm going to count always to 9 9 separate minis. Actually, you know what? I'll do, I think that may be hard to comprehend if I'm not actually doing it. So after I finish this batch and I start the next batch, I'll kind of go through the process of what I do. But in terms of like labeling something, I already know how many eggs are on the table. There were 4 rows of 21 and 1 row of 22. So 21 times 4 is 80. 84 plus 22 is 106. And I printed 100 labels here. So at the end of all of this packing and everything, there should be 6 eggs left that are not labeled. So that, again, is another guardrail that's put in place to ensure that, first of all, you're labeling the correct amount of eggs, and that you counted properly. You counted the correct amount of eggs on the table. You printed the correct amount of labels. In theory, I probably should have counted the 106 eggs prior to printing out the labels, and I should have printed 106 labels. That way, I know that the number of eggs matches the number of labels that I printed, and that when I'm bagging them and putting them in, I shouldn't have any leftover either eggs or labels, because if there's a leftover egg, that means that I mislabeled something incorrectly, or if there's an extra label, that means that I didn't label a bag properly. So these are just some guardrails that I've learned over the years to prevent issues with counting. Right, you always want to at least double count your numbers, because you know, counting may seem trivial, but when you're counting over and over again, counting up to 100, counting up to different numbers, sometimes the numbers get mixed up and jumbled in your head. And you know, we're all human, we all make mistakes. I make mistakes, but these are just ways that you can mitigate those mistakes, because even when you're sending stuff to Amazon, if you mislabel or you send in the incorrect units, you get penalized a little bit. There is some leniency with Amazon, but for the most part, you want to be as accurate as possible, right? And there's ways that you can just mitigate your risk in terms of not counting properly. All right, so back to the time lapse. All right, so believe it or not, that took about 20 minutes to pack everything. And like I said previously, we had 106 eggs on the table. I printed out 100 labels, and I predicted that there would be 6 left, and these are the remaining 6. So we're just gonna go ahead and print out the remaining 6 labels. In a perfect world, what I should have done is I should have printed out 106 labels instead of 100. I don't know why I did it, but I've done this long enough to know, I guess, how to reconcile that. So we're just gonna print the other 6 labels. We could probably fit another 10 or so into this box, 10 to 15 more eggs. So we're gonna get this box filled up, weighed, measured, and we're gonna print up the box labels and then start our next batch. All right, we're gonna start another batch of our 10 pack of mini animals. You just saw me that I just laid out all of these eggs. And so the way I do it is, for this batch, we're gonna do 40 eggs. So there's 4 rows of 10, all laid out here, all the tops match. And I also try to match the mismatched tops here. So you'll see that this guy and this guy is the same mismatched color. So 40 altogether here. And so what I like to do is just get 10 of our mini animals and bring them over to the table. All right, so here's 10 unique animals here, and basically I'll just go and fill in the eggs with each animal. So I'll take a box here, go down the line, fill up 10 eggs, and then put the box on this side. That way I know that it's done. And I'll just go down the line to ensure that each egg gets 10 animals and nothing's missing. So when I'm going down the line, I'm essentially counting out, since I know that there are rows of 10, I'll count out each animal as I put it in. So this will be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that way I know that the entire row is complete and every egg has a animal in it. All right, so there you have it. That's how we assemble and pack our 10-pack of our mini animals. Let's see what's going on with this print over here. Looks like there is a clog back there, or there will be a clog. See if I can fix this real quick. Anyways, as I was saying, I'm just gonna get to packing these. We have bins and bins of these full of eggs that we need to pack our minis with. We have more bins over here. These are all filled with eggs, all down here. So we have a good amount of minis that we need to pack and assemble today. And on the topic of packing stuff for Q4, oh look, more bins. These bins are all full. So the reason these are full because all of these P1Ps are printing eggs, and these eggs, not that they're smaller and are the smooth design versus our gemstone eggs, we can print 4 of these in about 7 hours. So that means that we can do 2 batches typically in a day, sometimes 3 if I come in late at night around 1 p.m. I can do another batch if I really need to, but we're able to really just pump out eggs. What I have done is I have transitioned some of these P1S printers over here to AMS systems. I basically disassembled the AMS ones that I had over here that were printing in 8 colors. Just because we were so behind on turtles and turtle orders, I essentially disassembled the AMSs from being able to print. I basically reverted all these back to just printing with 1 AMS for each of them. So the extra AMSs I put on top of these P1S printers here. And I think now that Bambu Labs is running their sale, I might just buy AMS units to fill out the top row of all these printers. So essentially outfitting all of these with an AMS unit on top, all these, just because I don't need to continue to print these eggs because we have so much of these. And we're kind of falling behind on printing these turtles. So I think that's what I might do. So the other question is, do I go to Microcenter? About 30 minutes to Microcenter to pick up AMS units. Microcenter near me has 4 AMS units available for pickup. I'll save on taxes and I'll save on shipping. Or I can just buy them directly from Bambu Lab's website. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do yet, but I think that is what I'm going to do. So AMS P1P, I think that's what I will do. So stay tuned for that. All right, I think that's going to do it for this video. For the most part, I hope you guys learned something from it. Enjoyed the process of what we do to get products ready to be shipped out to Amazon. Real fun. All right, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave a comment. I am doing a giveaway in my community, I think in 2 weeks, for a A1 combo printer. So 1 lucky winner will win an A1 combo 3D printer from Bambu Labs. So if you're interested in that, check the link in my bio or in the description if you're interested in joining the community. I will see you guys in the next video.